Welcome everyone, my name is Rigel and today I'm doing a preview of the grand final of Eurovision 2023. I know, I'm surprised too. I'm in the middle of all these exams. How do I have time for a grand final preview video? Well, my next exam is on Tuesday, so I actually have a little bit more time to chill a little bit before I get back into studying and stuff. And I just came back from an exam today, so I thought it would be time now, before the grand final, to basically take a look at the grand final. I'll be basically reacting to the running order, talk about what I think of the performances that we've known, and also I'll be talking about, if applicable, that is, I'll be talking about how they did at the jury show. So those are some spoilers. If you don't want those spoilers, then I would suggest you just check out another video. So I'll be commenting on what little I do know from their jury show performances, and also at the end I'll also talk about the interval acts a little bit. So let's start off with the first country, which is Austria. Of course, that's Taya and Selena with Who the Hell is Edgar? And in terms of running order, I think this is I've mixed feelings about this. On one hand, it's kind of clever because obviously, as we know, the UK is closing the show, and the last line of I Wrote a Song is "Instead I Wrote a Song," of course. And the first line of Who the Hell is Edgar is, "Oh my god, you're such a good writer." And then at the end, "Instead I Wrote a Song." So I think there's a little bit of a gag there with the producers. But at the same time, any chances of this being a shock winner has just vanished. It leads me to speculate that Austria didn't actually win their semi. I don't know that for sure. Obviously, I don't think the producers actually know that for sure either. But either way, they've chosen Austria to open the final, which is pretty solid. It gets the people going. It gets the party going. As opposed to, say, semifinal 2, where the party only really started with Belgium. In either case, we're having Austria start. From what I've read, because I'm obviously not accredited press, I wish I was, but I'm not. From what I've read from people who did see the jury show, they thought, for the most part, it just remains the same from the performance from semifinal 2, except Taya and Selena are a little bit more confident, probably because they qualified, obviously. And one of the accredited press also said that they thought there were more close-up shots, which is nice. I think this song really needs more rapid cuts to convey the bounciness, I suppose, of the beat. So I think that's good if they did actually implement those, but otherwise most people just thought it was similar to the semifinal performance, which is fair enough. With that said, let's move on to second in the running order, aka the death slot, and that is Portugal. Now, a lot of Portuguese have been kind of angry about this because last year in the grand final, they put Portugal, I believe, third. Mauro, of course. They put Mauro third in the entire running order, and that kind of caused her to not really do so well with the televote. I think she only got 30 points or something like that, despite, getting 200 points in the jury. Actually, no, she didn't get 200 points. She got probably 170-ish, because I think it added up to 206 or 207, something like that. Anyways, just for some reason, I guess the EBU likes to put Portugal early, and I don't know why they put her in a death slot, but I guess they did. I didn't see too much talk of this on the timeline, because obviously I'm on Twitter. You can follow me there if you want, BlueRigel4. I didn't see too much talk about this, so I would assume she just did kind of the same thing as the semifinal, which, again, fair enough. And then after that, we have Switzerland, which is, of course, Water Gun by Remo Ferrer. Again, it's very similar to a semifinal performance. I don't think there's really much changes. People commented they sounded good, as expected, really. Yeah, that's kind of it. I don't think people expected this to do well in the grand final anyway, but now putting this third in the running order, I think could really harm its televote. Again, in a similar way tomorrow, actually. But I don't even. On the other hand, I don't know how well this will do with the jury. It's a ballad. Obviously, it's gonna do better than, say, your average pop song. But I don't know if this is going to reach like Morrow levels of jury points. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, that's Switzerland. Moving on now to the fourth place in the running order, which is Poland. Of course, that's Solo by Blanca. And I really thought they would put this earlier, It's fourth, which is still really early, but I thought they would put this even earlier than that. But, I'm not complaining. This is, again, still really early for an upbeat song like this. Yeah, I don't think there's much different. What is different, actually, between the semifinal and the rehearsal clip is the dance break. That weird effect, that time stop effect. I don't even know what to call it. A shadowy thing in the dance break. They removed that, but otherwise the rest of the cheesy effects are still there. You know what? For what it's worth, kudos to Blanca. I still despise the song. I still despise the way that Blanca was selected, but for what it's worth, kudos to Blanca. She sounds a lot better now than she did at the national final, and yeah, that's fair play to her. I still am salty that this qualified, but hey, what's done is done. What can we do? Right, moving on to jury show. I didn't hear anyone talk about this. If anything, a lot of people are speculating that this could actually get 0 points in a televote, which I wouldn't be surprised about, because it's a song that's supposed to get televote points, and it's going so damn early. I don't know if it's actually going to get 0, because Polish diaspora is still there, but I do think this has very strong last place in the final energy. So yeah, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, fifth place in the running order is Serbia. I don't know why they put this so early. Last year at least, Constracta had the kind of consolation prize of being able to perform, I think, 24th in the grand final. As opposed to Luke Black here, who's performing 5th in the first half, which is very early. 24th is kind of a pimp slot, actually, if you look at the results. But Serbia is performing very early, but if nothing else, this provides a very good contrast going after Poland. I'm not super convinced this will do too much damage in the final. I think the main hurdle really was to qualify, and no doubt Croatia and Slovenia are going to give them some points, but other than that, I don't see this doing too much damage. Could be bottom 5 or bottom 10 maybe. Yeah, bottom 5, bottom 10 maybe, and that's really about it with Serbia. I don't expect a very good result. I would like to see it, but I think it's going too early for that. It's not going to get too much jury points. Look at Hatari. So I don't expect too much. Again, results-wise, I just think I'm just glad he qualified. Anyways, going after Serbia, we have our first favorite to win, which is France. Now, obviously France is being represented by La Zaha with the song Évidemment, but the jury final comments have been very divided. Some people thought that she sounded good. Particularly, I saw a tweet that said she hit it. It being the long note, of course. And then I saw another tweet of the guys over at ESC United reacting to the long note, and let's just say their facial expressions were not good. I'm not going to show it here because I'm lazy at editing, but yeah, very mixed opinions, I think, on Lazaha's vocals. I've been trying to shut up about this ever since that Madrid performance, but Lazaha's vocals are surprisingly dodgy. Sometimes she sounds absolutely amazing. If we assume the presentation video was live, then that was really good. The performance she did at some radio show in France, I can't remember what it's called, that sounded good as well. But somehow, when it comes to what actually matters, I just, from what I've been able to gather anyway, she's just not hitting it. So yeah, make of that what you will, but I think realistic winner discussion, I think, is out of the question. I don't think it's gonna be there. I think top 5 is definitely doable. Scraping top 5, I think. But winning, nah, I don't think it has any chance. Right, moving on from that, let's go to Cyprus, who are being represented by Andrew Lambrew with the song Break a Broken Heart, and this is going at 7th in the running order. Now, I didn't see anyone talk about this. People just said that he sounded good, and yeah, that's kind of about it. And frankly, I think Cyprus's goal this year was just to qualify. I don't think they really care about what damage they do in the final, because that won't be very much. Yeah, and also there's the question of course, Greece didn't qualify. Who are Cyprus going to give points to? But we'll find out. It's the same. Spoiler alert, it's the same spokesperson as the guy from last year. They've had the same guy for quite a while now. And let me mention some other spokespersons as well. For Austria, it's the same dude wearing the equality t-shirt. For Portugal is Mauro, of course, from last year, Portugal. I think the spokesperson for Switzerland is Chiara Dubé, who's an Italian-speaking Swiss singer, and she was in the national final for Switzerland a while back. I think Chiara Dubé is the spokesperson, but I can't remember exactly. Poland, it's Ida Nowakowska, who's done the spokesperson stuff for a couple of years now. She also co-hosted Junior Eurovision, obviously. Serbia, I don't think we have that yet. I haven't seen it anywhere, or maybe I just don't remember. For France, it's one of the previous participants whose name I can't remember right now. For Cyprus, like I said, it's the same guy from the last couple of years, Lucas Hamatos. So let's move on to Spain. By the way, Spain's spokesperson this year is Beth, who sang I think Dancing in the Rain. I can't remember. Beth from Spain 2014. Was it Beth or was it Ruth? No, I can't remember. Anyway, Spain 2014. You get the idea. She's a spokesperson this year instead of Nieves Alvarez. Nieves Alvarez. I can't speak Spanish today. Yeah, Spain. They are going at 8th in the running order, and of course they're being represented by Blanca Paloma with the song Ea Ea. And there's the jury show. People are saying that this should win the jury, or Sweden, or some people even said Italy. But I think realistically, it'll be Sweden. But I think Spain are still in for a very, very good jury score, because obviously, she sings really well, and the camera cuts and everything are really super intricate, and yeah, there's really not much to it. She sounds good. A lot of people hyping her up as a potential jury winner. I personally don't think that's possible, but because juries tend to be more pop oriented, and this isn't really pop, so yeah. Spain having a very good jury show performance. With that, let's move to a little commercial break. Not on this video, but during the show, because between Spain and Sweden, there will be a little break to take down the curtains from Blanca Paloma's performance and to put up the so what some people call the LED sandwich. For Lorraine, which who is of course representing Sweden with the song Tattoo, performing at 9th in the running order. Now, I think some people might think that the EBU screwed over Sweden by placing Sweden 9th in the running order, but actually, if you know like the production details and such, some people pointed it out. Pretty much Sweden was locked for 9th as soon as they drew first half, because the only break in the first half is between 8th and 9th, so they need time to move the again LED sandwich onto the stage. So yeah, she was pretty much locked for 9th in the running order, which some would say is harmful for her winning chances, but you know what, I'll discuss the winning chances and possible winners at the end. So yeah, a lot of people, like in terms of a jury show performance, some people think she sounded off, but other people also pointed out that in 2012 she literally swallowed a snowflake during the jury show performance, and obviously still won the jury. So yeah, in that sense, I wouldn't be too worried, but some people think she didn't sound the best. Again, we'll talk about like winning chances later. So for now, let's move on to 10th in the running order, which is Albania. Of course, they're being represented by Albina and Familia Kelmendi with the song Duye. And yeah, again, not much to say about this one. It's very similar to the semi-final performance. They sounded good, allegedly. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. I don't think there's much to say about this. Some people think it's being harmed by going after Sweden, but we'll see what happens. And also, some people pointed out that this is the first time in a while, actually, that Albania hasn't been placed early in the running order. They often tend to get like second or third. I remember 2021 when I can't remember her name, but the 2021 representative was placed second in the running order in the final. And yeah, this year they can't really justify that anymore because they also did that, I think, in 2019. So yeah, this is actually a pretty good slot. It stands out no matter pretty much where you put it. So yeah, it's going after Lorraine, and after Albania, we have Italy, who are performing at 11th in the running order, of course, with Marco Mengoni as the representative, with the song Due Vite. There are some people who think that this could be a surprise jury winner, and now, I'm not going to rule that out. He has good vocals, and this is a ballad which juries tend to flock to. However, at the same time, this is Italy, and generally Italy isn't treated too fondly by the jury, let's just say. They usually tend to get a higher televote than jury, but at the exception of 2022. But yeah, I think this could do well in the jury vote rather, but in the televote, I'm not seeing too much impact. I will say this is one of the more interesting stagings from Italy in a good long while. I know that sounds crazy. Well, bar 2021, of course, 2021 was sensational, but this is certainly more interesting than the staging from last year. This year, they've got this like staircase in the back with two dancers just jumping off of it and bouncing into like this trampoline and then jumping back up there. I'm not really sure what that's about, but there's also apparently an LED moon or crescent moon, I guess. Yeah, that's all I know. I haven't actually watched the full performance. You can do that right now, by the way, but I'm not super interested. So yeah, that's Italy, Due Vite, Marco Mangoni. I don't know where this will come in the final. I would say either lower top 10, maybe 8, 9, 10-ish, or early, or rather upper top 15. Like, yeah, I would say in general 8 to 15 or 8 to 13 really is what I would expect Italy to come. But who knows, right? Anyways, after one ballad, we have another ballad, and I'll talk about that a little bit when we get to the song after that. But in 12th in the running order, we have Estonia, and that is, of course, Bridges, sung by Alika. And there's not much to be said about this. People at the jury show said that this sounded good. It was pretty similar to the semifinal performance, which makes sense. It only took place like a day ago, because the jury show was yesterday as of recording this, obviously. Not much else to say about this. I think I'll get to number 13. Anyways, yeah, number 13 in the running order, that's of course the other favorite to win the whole contest, and that is Cha 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 by Garia. Yeah, I strongly suspect the EBU just put Italy and Estonia back to back just to make Finland stand out even more. There I was after the second semifinal saying that the producers can use ballads to break up pop songs, and then there they go putting two ballads in a row. So yeah, 13th is Finland. The jury, of course, is going to be very important to Garia if he wants to win. And there are different views on this. Actually, this is very conflicting. Some people think he sounded great, and obviously the audience was going to love this. The audience poll actually showed, I think, about 28 or 29% of the entire audience found that their favorite act of the night was Finland. So yeah, it got a huge applause in the arena, and like I mentioned earlier, Finland won the audience poll, but Finland only came second in the press poll, so that's very interesting. Again, I'll get to the end before I talk about the whole winning thing. So with that said, let's move on to 14th, the start of the second half, and that is Czechia, who are being represented by Vesna with the song My Sister's Crown. Now, I think there's arguments either way to whether this will be harmed or benefited by going after Finland. But one thing's for sure, the EBU hates Czechia because almost every single time the EBU just tries as much as possible to put Czechia as early as possible. Like obviously last year they opened the grand final. In 2019, I think they also placed like third or something like that. So yeah, and even in the second half, they finally drew second half for once, and they decided to put it as early as possible in the second half. So yeah, make of that what you will. Anyways, yeah, Czechia are being represented by Vesna with the song My Sister's Crown, and you could say on one hand that this is hurt by going after Finland because everyone's going to be talking about Garia and Cha Cha Cha, but at the same time you could say that people will stick with the hype that they achieved, I guess, during Cha Cha Cha, and still watch this performance with a lot of attention. Furthermore, a lot of viral charts on Spotify have been full of My Sister's Crown, actually. Even in countries where you wouldn't expect it to, like Germany, for example, it's trending in, I think, 30 something place in Germany, in on Spotify, for example. So I wouldn't be too pessimistic at this point. It's getting good streaming numbers. I think yesterday it got about 383,000 streams, which is really good. Or 300k anyway. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's really harmed or benefited either way. And for me, I guess my focus would just to be hope that they don't come bottom 5, because I think this really deserves better than that. So top 10 I think is possible, but we'll have to see what happens. In the meantime, let's go to 15th in the running order, and that is Australia, who are of course being represented by Voyager with the song Promise. And yeah, I think they did what they could in terms of placing the song here. I think I'm not sure about this, but I suspect I was about to say there's a break before 15, but no, the break is actually after 15, as I've been informed. But yeah, this is still going to stand out. Of course, it's one of the few rock songs in the final, so it's definitely going to stand out in that respect. Very confident performers. I didn't see anyone talk about them during the jury show, but I would assume that this means they did something similar to the semifinal. So yeah, there's not much to say about this. I don't think this is coming bottom 5, but we'll have to see what happens. And obviously, they closed the show in the semifinal. They weren't going to give them a pimp slot again. So yeah, that's fair enough. And like I said earlier, there's a break between 15 and 16 because they have to move the car out, and then they have to move in the staircase for Gustav, who is of course representing Belgium with this song Because of You, performing in the 16th slot in the running order. Now, there's not much to say about this except in the audience poll. It was the audience poll, not the press poll. In the audience poll, this actually came 3rd out of all 26 songs. And that is kind of shocking. Like, most people expect some other favorites to really do well in the audience poll, obviously. And, as you'd expect, the top 2 is Finland and Sweden in both the press poll and the audience poll. But in 3rd place in the audience poll was Belgium. This means that the song really, really went off in the arena, and people were just bopping along to it. And you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if this came with like a almost Trendy Letul type result, and possibly even better because, to be fair, this is not going after a ballad, but it's going after a different enough song that I think is enough to stand out. And this would actually probably do better than Trendy Letul, at least in the jury, because obviously Gustav sounds really good. He hits that high note with ease, and he's really confident on stage. All things that a jury are going to like. So yeah, I think Belgium are in for actually a pretty good result. Shireen, you might remember Shireen from Samoni Ba. She actually posted, she actually just tweeted today that she thinks Belgium can get top 5. I wouldn't agree, but at the same time, I wouldn't rule it out. It's a very fun song, very feel-good song. And like I said with my semifinal predictions, never underestimate the power of fun. So with that said, let's go from a more upbeat song to a not so upbeat song, and that is Armenia. Of course, they're being represented by Brunette with the song Future Lover, and they're performing 17th in the running order. Now, I think this is a good slot actually, because they're going after Belgium and before Moldova, both of which are like more upbeat songs. And while, there is that dance break in the middle, in general, Future Lover is a more ballady type song. It's more somber. I guess it's certainly not as upbeat as the other ones. And in terms of what I think of the performance, I still don't think the dance break really fits, but allegedly, well, not allegedly, she said it in a press conference that she'd actually been planning it for a couple months now, but I still don't think it fits. Maybe I've just gotten used to the old version, but yeah. Otherwise, she sounds good. She looks good. Yeah, very solid performance actually from Brunette, and like to quote Eurovision Tom, this has a really unknown quantity to it. You don't know whether this is going to come bottom five or top five. I don't think it's gonna come bottom five. Absolutely not. Eurovision Tom thinks it's probably going to be like mid-table, and I would tend to agree. Maybe lower left side. 11, 12, 13, something like that, I think sounds right to me. But this could absolutely break into the top 10. I wouldn't rule it out. So with that said, let's move on to 18th in the running order, which is of course Moldova, being represented by Pasha Parfeni with the song Soarele și Luna. Now, there isn't much to really talk about here. The press at the jury show said that he sounded good, but it's an ethnic song, and juries tend to, undervalue such kinds of songs anyway, so we don't expect too many points in the jury. I wouldn't say this is coming bottom five, but I also wouldn't rule it out. It is just a pretty strong final, and yeah, there's just a lot of songs for viewers to sink their teeth into, basically, and unfortunately I think going in the middle like this makes it a little bit lost. So I wouldn't envisage too good of a result. Maybe this can scrape barely into the top 10, but I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. So yeah, well, regardless, still a really good performance from two-time qualifier Pasha Parfeni. So with that said, let's move on to 19th, which is of course Ukraine, reigning champion Ukraine. They're of course being represented by Tvorchi with the song Heart of Steel, and I think a lot of people kind of agree on this, that despite in terms of genre, despite standing out, this is probably not going to leave too much of an impact. It's a solid staging, don't get me wrong, but it's not something as memorable, I think, compared to, say, Tattoo or obviously Cha Cha Cha. But I think this could still get a good result. I personally would envisage either lower top 10 or upper top 15, like I said with another country that I can't remember. So yeah, I think they're due for a good result indeed, although I wouldn't see this challenging for the win at all. With that said, let's move on to another country, which is Norway, who are being represented by Alessandra with the song Queen of Kings. It's performing 20th, which isn't amazing, isn't terrible, but certainly being late does help with memorability. Although I have to say, during the jury show, some people reported that her vocals really weren't up to scratch. Yeah, I saw one clip where she was just singing really, really off key, and I physically grimaced at that clip. And other people also reported that the whistle note was also kind of croaky. I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, apparently that's what happened. I don't envisage a super good jury result for this, I guess, due to that. But obviously the jury members aren't living in a vacuum. They know what she can sound like, so maybe they won't rate this as poorly, but I think any talk of this challenging for the win is out of the question. But I think there's still going to be a decent result. Again, I think we're looking at a lower top 10 result here. So yeah, that's Norway. With that said, let's move on to Germany, who are performing 21st and are being represented by Lord of the Lost with the song Blood and Glitter. Yeah, not much to say about this. I think most people in the press agreed that they sounded good, and Eurovision Tom in particular, yeah, I follow him a lot. Eurovision Tom in particular actually thought that this was the best German entry since Lena from 2010 and 11. Yeah, I really do think this is a solid entry for Germany. Obviously, Chris Harms sounds really good. His vocals are great. He's super experienced. He's doing a lot of growling, which is actually, in terms of technique, actually quite difficult to do. So I really hope this doesn't come bottom 5. Some people think it will still, but I think, in fact, we might be talking about a shock top 10 result for Germany. And actually, I kind of cheered when Lord of the Lost drew second half. And at the very least, I think Germany could be looking at least a top 10 in the televote, and then maybe come mid-table because of that. But then we'll have to see what the jury does. Again, the jury are kind of the main big unknown, and well, he sounded good last night according to the press. So we'll see what happens. I really, really hope that Germany gets a good result out of this, and this would inspire the German broadcaster to keep improving the selection process. So with that said, let's move on to 22nd place in the running order, and that is Lithuania, who are being represented by Monika Linkytė with the song Stay. And I think a lot of people would agree on this. She sounds good, but at the same time, this probably isn't doing too much damage in the final. I think their main hurdle was to qualify in the first place, and now they've done that, and this probably won't get too many points, but we'll have to see. A lot of people, a lot of moms are no doubt going to be voting for this, and maybe Lithuanian diaspora, but I don't know that for sure, once in the grand final. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Certainly, again, this is it turns into a more soul gospel type song, and we don't really have a lot of that in the grand final, so this could stand out in that respect, but personally, I'm still looking at a bottom 5 finish for this. So yeah, that's Lithuania, and I think for what it's worth, I think they should be proud of qualifying after not doing so great in the 2010s. After that, we move on to 23rd in the running order, and that is Israel, who are of course being represented by Noah Kirel with the song Unicorn. And this isn't related to the video, but I just realized the Israeli flag in the running order graphic isn't symmetrical, and that really pisses me off. But anyway, back to Noah Kirel and Unicorn. And actually, one thing that I saw yesterday, kind of during or after the jury show, is that Israel has risen in the odds to now 4th place. France was previously in 4th, but I think if you look at the bookmakers now, they're actually all in red because of, again, subpar vocals, let's just say, while Israel has been going up because obviously they've got a really cushy running order slot. They're performing 23rd, which isn't the ideal slot, by the way. That is 24th, but this is still a really solid slot. It's recent enough for a lot of viewers to remember, so I think this will get a pretty good televote. But I don't know how the jury would rate this, but either way, I don't see this winning. I think top 5 may be possible, 4th or 5th or something like that, but certainly I don't see this challenging for the win. With that said, let's move on to 24th place in the running order, and that is Slovenia, being represented by Joker Out with the song Carpe Diem. And yeah, there's not much to say about this. People in the jury shows that they sounded good. I thought they sounded good at the second semifinal as well, very confident. A lot of looking at the camera, which which is very much appreciated, obviously. Not much else to say. Some people think this can sneak into the top 10. We'll see what happens. I don't know either way. So with that said, let's move on to the second last slot in the running order, and that is Croatia being represented by Let Free with Mama Shi. Now, I think this is an interesting place to put this. Now, a lot of people think that the running order isn't really is affected actually by the televote score. I'm not super convinced that's the case, but I think this is interesting still to have this run of Israel, Slovenia, Croatia, UK. Nonetheless, this does stand out. It was going to stand out pretty much anywhere you put it. But now I think this could also get a kind of trendy Latino type televote. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe people will be turned off by it. I have no idea where they qualified in the first semifinal. By the way, there's the split results that were released by Twitter user Car. Those are fake, by the way. I've been told that. In fact, I've been told by someone who was advising him on how to make it look more legit. Yeah, so that graphic going around, it's fake. The real results only come out on Sunday. So yeah, and I don't have much else to say about this. The lead singer apparently is ill. Apparently he got an infection or something like that. I think yesterday, but people at the jury show said he sounded good. So Croatia fans, I don't think you need to be concerned. And to be fair, I'm not convinced the jury would have given this too many points either way. So yeah, that's Croatia. And finally, we move to the closing act of Eurovision 2023, and that is, of course, the host country, the United Kingdom, being represented by Mae Muller with the song I Wrote a Song. In stark contrast to Croatia, actually, a lot of people reported Mae Muller not sounding so good. In fact, it's to the point where some people are thinking that the UK could end up last place again, because allegedly the energy isn't there. Although some people did say that she did hit the high note very well. We'll have to see. I'm not super convinced with the vocals that were seen in the clip that was shown in semifinal 2, because I don't watch the full performances until afterwards. So yeah, I wasn't super convinced, and although one thing I do want to say is that if you remember the clip posted by RTVE, the 10-second clip from RTVE, where there was this like spinning camera angle, and then Mae Muller does this quirky little wink at the quirky little stick out tongue at the camera. I've been told that she did that again in the jury final. So yeah, make it out what you will. I don't know if that harms or benefits her really. Probably neither. So yeah, that's Mae Muller for the UK, and that is the entire 26 acts of the grand final of Eurovision 2023. Now onto some of the interval acts. Specifically, first we had the flag parade. I didn't listen to any of the audio from the videos posted yesterday, but basically in the flag parade there will be I think, it's been posted obviously, but there will be several Ukrainian artists in the flag parade performing different renditions of their songs, including Verka Serduchka performing Dancing Lasha Tumbai, Tina Carroll also performing her song. And yeah, that's the flag parade, and after that we also have the Liverpool songbook, where some of the more iconic singers from the last couple of years have come back to cover songs that came from Liverpool, and some people did write down all of the songs that were sung by the different singers, but here's the few that I do remember. Spoilers, again, if you don't want to hear this, just maybe skip forward a bit or just close the video. Mahmood is singing Imagine by John Lennon. Netta is singing "You Spin Me Round" by Dead or Alive. If you're old enough on the internet, you might remember this song that goes, "You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round, round." Yeah, that song basically. Netta is covering that, and I didn't even know it's from Liverpool, but that's super cool. And finally, the one that I care most for is Cornelia. Cornelia Jacobs, of course, from Sweden 2022. She is performing "I Turn to You" by Mel C, who, Mel C, if you don't know, is one of the Spice Girls. She's from Liverpool. And yeah, she's performing, Cornelia is performing "I Turn to You" by Mel C. And I haven't seen the performance itself, but apparently she's actually in some sort of little shallow tub of water or something like that. And actually, yeah, I have this tweet open right here. It's described as she's in a white tank top and black pants on the green room stage in a chair. The chair is placed in shallow water, which she gets in and dances around while she sings. So yeah, that's Cornelia performing "I Turn to You." She actually said in an interview, I think, that this is one of her favorite songs, so she was very excited when she was told that she could sing this. And yeah, that's about it from what I know. That's the grand final preview from yours truly, without ever watching the jury show and by just following what Twitter was saying last night, essentially. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little preview. And the video's not over. I just remembered I forgot to do the winner prediction. I'm not going to do a prediction of the entire grand final because I'm terrible at these types of things. But I will say, in terms of the winner race, obviously, like everyone knows by now, is between Sweden and Finland. Let's get France out of the way. The juries are going to, I think, knock down a couple of points for the bad vocals, and I think they're just too early for the televote to give this a lot of points, although it could get a decent amount still. For Spain, again, the televote is the main concern. I just don't think this is accessible enough for the televote. So yeah, I don't think Spain's winning either, unfortunately. Yeah, I think it's firmly between Sweden and Finland. As to who from those will win, I couldn't tell you. I think it's more dependent on Garia's jury score than Lorean's televote score, because Lorean is pretty much 100% winning the jury, and what's his name? Ben Robertson from ESC Insight. He's kind of one of the professionals at looking at betting markets and such, and he thinks that Sweden even has a chance to win the televote. So I don't know if I agree with that, but I can absolutely see a scenario where Lorean gets first in the jury and then second in the televote, because so far there's only been two Eurovision 2023 songs that have gotten more than 1 million streams per day, and those are, as you guessed, Tattoo and Cha Cha Cha. But Tattoo is on top. Tattoo's got like 1.4 million, I think, yesterday, while Cha 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 only has around 1 million. But obviously, streaming numbers don't necessarily correlate to televote score, but I think it's an indicator of who's listening to what kind of music, which could impact it a bit. But yeah, I think it's still really up in the air, and if Lorean wins or if Garia wins, I don't think it'll be by a huge margin. Or actually, maybe it could be like a 2017 scenario where we have two songs which are way above the others in terms of scores, and then the rest are just kind of down there. But I think it will be very close to the top indeed. And regardless of who wins, I think we're getting a great show next year, be it in Stockholm or Tampere. Yeah, because it's pretty much confirmed to be Tampere at this point. I think Garia himself says he wants it in Tampere. And Tampere has the largest arena in Finland now. It's called Nokia Arena, and no doubt it will be renamed for Eurovision. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. For now, I think we're looking at either Sweden or Finland winning overall, and it's going to be super close at the top. Whether Sweden or Finland win, I think it'll still be very historically significant for the contest going forward. Obviously, if Sweden wins, that's 7 wins for them. That's tying with Ireland, and Loreen becomes the first ever female double winner. Obviously, we had Johnny Logan win for Ireland twice back in the heyday of Ireland at Eurovision. And speaking of Ireland at Eurovision, I think both this and, Sweden getting 7 wins would give RTE a good opportunity to rethink their Eurovision approach, because according to some Irish Eurofans like Eurovision Tom, for example, RTE really is just treating Eurovision as just 9 hours of cheap TV rather than trying to actually make an impact in the contest. So yeah, that's very different, obviously, from their approach, in the 90s or 80s, for example. And if Finland wins, then I think, again, it goes to show about genre. You don't have to be sending some sort of impactful ballad or some sort of intricate pop song to win, ironically, like Tattoo. But it goes to show that you don't need to have very conventional songs to win. In fact, if it's crazy and party, it can also win Eurovision. Or at least become very iconic, kind of like, Dancing Lasha Tumbai, for example. But yeah, if Finland wins, it goes to show that you don't need to sing in English to win. That was kind of what Ireland was taking advantage of in the 90s, I think. And before that, obviously, with the UK, for example, they were really advantaged because of the language rule. Only, the UK and Ireland could sing in English, and Malta, but they didn't win, did they? Anyway, so if Finland wins, it's not only going to show that a song can win from any language, any genre, but it also really actually reflects Finnish society. I don't know how many people really read into the lyrics, but actually Cha 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 talks about someone letting loose basically after having some alcohol, and because Finns are kind of expected to have this icy exterior, and the only way they can really let loose is if they, get some pina coladas, for example. So actually, not only is Cha 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 a fun party song, but also is actually a really good reflection of what modern Finnish society and mentalities look like. So actually, in this way, actually, Cha 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 also showcases what Finnish culture is like to the world, and I think that's also very historically significant. So either way, I wouldn't mind. I love both of the songs. Tattoo and Cha 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 are both really excellent. They're both in my top 10, personal top 10, obviously. My top 37 by now. And I would be very happy if either of them won. So I'm not really cheering either of them on. I'm not voting for anyone because I've gone broke. So yeah, that's what I think of the winners, the possible winners. So yeah, that's really all I have to say on who's going to win. That's about it. Hope you enjoyed my little grand final preview and prediction. Like this video if you enjoyed my commentary. Subscribe so you don't miss my upcoming videos reviewing Eurovision 2023. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Hope to catch some of you guys at my reaction live stream to the grand final later tonight. But regardless, I'll see you next time.